to you all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for joining His Holiness Candramauli Swami Maharaj's daily class. Today we are continuing with Srimad Bhagavatam. Maharaj, are we continuing with Srimad Bhagavatam? Please accept my
Yep.
hand.
Yeah, continue.
Yes, Maharaj, yeah. So today's verse is second canto, chapter 7 and verse number 10. Hare Krishna Maharaj, my humble obeisances to you. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I'll just share my screen.
Okay.
Second, Maharaj. Verse number 10.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Nabir Asad Rishabhasad Sudeva Sunur. Yovachachara Samdrigajada Yogacharyam. Yad Paramahansyam Rishayam Padma Amananti Swatam Prashandakaranam Parimukta Sangaha. The Lord appeared as the son of Sudevi, the wife of King Nabi. He was known as Rishabdev. He performed materialistic yoga to equibalance the mind. This stage is also accepted as the highest perfectional situation of liberation, wherein one is situated in oneself and is completely satisfied. Out of the many types of mystic performances for self-realization, the process of Jata Yoga is also one accepted by authorities. This Jata Yoga involves practicing becoming like a dumb stone and not be affected by material reactions. Just as the stone is indifferent to all kinds of attacks and reattacks of external situations, similarly, one practices Jata Yoga by tolerating voluntary infliction of pain upon the material body. Such yogis, out of many self-inflicted methods, practice plucking out the hairs on their head without shaving, without any instrumental help. The real purpose of such Jata Yoga practice is to get free from all material affection and to become completely situated in the self. At the last stage of his life, Emperor Rishabdev wandered like a dumb man, unaffected by all kinds of material mistreatment. Seeing him like a madman wandering naked with long hair and long beard, less intelligent children and men in the street used to spit on him and urinate on his body. He used to lie in his own stool and never move. But the stool of his body was fragrant like the smell of fragrant flowers. And a saintly person would recognize him as a Paramahansa, one in the highest stage of human perfection. One who's not able to make his stool fragrant should not, however, imitate Emperor Rishabdev. The practice of Jata Yoga was possible for Rishab and others on the same level of perfection, but such an uncommon practice is impossible for an ordinary man. Let's see where we are. The real purpose of Jata Yoga, as mentioned here in this verse, is Prashanta Karanam, or subduing the senses. The whole process of yoga, under whatever heading it may be, is to control the unbridled material senses and thus prepare oneself for self-realization. In this age especially, this Jata Yoga cannot be any practical value. But on the other hand, the practice of Bhakti Yoga is feasible because it is just suitable for the age. The simple method of hearing from the right source, Srimad Bhagavatam, will lead one to the highest perfectional stage of yoga. Rishabdev was the son of King Nabi and the grandson of King Agnidra, and he was the father of King Bharat, after whose name this planet is called Bharatvarsha. Rishab's mother was also known as Meral Devi, although her name is mentioned here as Sudevi. It is sometimes proposed that Sudevi was another wife of King Nabi, but since King Rishabdev is mentioned elsewhere as the son of Meral Devi, it is clear that Meral Devi and Sudevi are the same person under different names. Om Gyantimirandasya Gyanajana Salakaya Chaksun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Shri Makti Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namini Namaste Saraswati Deve Norvani Pacharine Nevasesa Sunyavadi Pastyatya De Satarine Vanchakalpa Taruvischa Vipa Sindhu Be Pachatitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaho Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hearing about Rishabdev, he's actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one of the Lord's plenary expansions. And he's teaching a type of yoga which tolerates all kinds of dualities of pain and pleasure. One of the qualities that are mentioned in those who are fixed in Krishna consciousness is called dhira. Dhira means not disturbed by happiness and distress, not moved by what happens on the external environment. They are situated in their self, and they're almost oblivious to what is externally going on. This particular type of yoga, Jata Yoga, is not recommended in this age. This was done just to teach people who were, let's see, this particular yoga is for those who can't practice bhakti yoga, but like to perform austerities. There's a class of people who think that austerity is the actual goal of life, is to make the body so invulnerable or invincible or unaffected by anything external. But the consciousness is the most important thing, because there are people who can immerse themselves in freezing water or even surrounded by hot fires and not be affected. But what is the consciousness? So therefore, the whole thing is about bringing the consciousness to the absolute level, or Krishna conscious, God consciousness. And that is the process of bhakti, which is given by Lord Chaitanya by chanting the holy names of the Lord. Yeah. So the teachings of Rishabdev are quite interesting. They're in the 5th canto, 5th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, and they're very difficult teachings to follow. Sometimes it says they are for Paramahansas and not for devotees who are neophyte devotees, cannot follow these practices. He gives very strong statements. If you read that chapter, you'll see he talks about one should not become father, one should not become mother, one should not become teacher, one should not become guru, unless one is qualified to deliver their disciples, their children, their students from the cycle of birth and death. So don't take on a position of authority where you're in charge of others or you're directing others unless you can bring them to the perfectional platform. That's one of his powerful verses. Pumsam strina mituni bhava metanta yorivad mirayanti ahur ahogriha kshetra sutapta vitayar janasamoham yamaham mameti. He talks about the attraction between male and female is the basic misconception of material existence. And based on this misconceptions, the hearts of the male and female get tied together. And due to that attraction and that attachment, then comes home, wife, home, children, money, balance, all of the amenities that come with family life, all of the attachments. And then this is called the I am my principle. One mistakenly thinks that I am this body and everything connected to my body is mine. And I am also identified according to my body. I am male, I am female, I'm from this country, I'm old, I'm young, and all of these are called moha or illusion. So his teachings are very powerful. It's a very powerful chapter. But we can't follow the yoga that he practices, nor is it recommended to follow that yoga. There are people who take up some of his practices and have adopted certain religions, such as the Jains and also the Buddhists. Jains and Buddhism are somewhat offshoots of the teachings of Rishabdev on the material level, more the austerities that they perform, and to become dhira. Actually, a devotee has to become dhira also, because if we don't become dhira, we cannot practice Krishna consciousness. Just like it says that in life there are so many opportunities for difficulties to appear in life. It'll happen. And sometimes we use the analogy that the difficulties are like a torrential rainstorm. So when it rains, it can rain in three different type of dwellings. One, it can rain in the mud hut, rain on the cement wall, or rain on the top of a mountain. When it rains on the mud hut, those who are not very fixed in spiritual life, that their hut is destroyed. The rain will just wash it away. So there's our persons that when difficulties come in life, they get devastated, they get destroyed, they get overwhelmed, and they can't function because they cannot tolerate or understand that difficulties are there, and they become what we say overwhelmed. Then there's those who are like the cement wall, that when the rain comes, the water goes into the cement and it makes the cement strong. So they become stronger in difficulties. They learn how to weather the difficulties like that. But then the highest is those that when it rains on the mountain, those who are like the mountain has greenery on it. So when it rains like that, the flowers, the trees, everything blossoms. So a devotee is meant to be like the mountain, that when there is difficulties in life, they take these difficulties as opportunities and show their good qualities. Tolerance, pridelessness, unaffected by happiness and distress, more dependent on Krishna, more attached to Krishna. All of these things are actually beneficial for one who is fixed in the process of Krishna consciousness. So one should, because life is like that, there'll be difficulties. It's just the way it is. The material energy works in such a way, and there will be reverses, there will be obstacles, there'll be losses, there may even be near-death experiences. There's so many things that come by the way of material energy: hurricanes, tidal waves, tornadoes, earthquakes, so many things. Like a few years ago, around it was the year, I think it was the year 2019. I was in the beginning of the year, and I was in my place in Croatia, and all of a sudden I was chanting japa, and when I was chanting japa, the whole building started to shake, and then pictures were flying off the wall, and the everything was shaking. At first, I thought Jai, I got some ecstatic symptoms because I'm chanting. But then I realized it wasn't like that. I and then I saw there was cracks forming into the big cement walls. So the next thing I did was get out of the house and go outside and get away from the devastation of the house. Fortunately, it wasn't such a big earthquake. It was about 5.9 on the Richter scale, which is pretty big. It can be quite big. So 8 people lost their lives during that time in that same area. But I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden, there's an earthquake. So I've been in that house for many years, never had any, you know, earthly type of turmoil, and all of a sudden it appears. So this is the way the world is. You never can tell. You're in an airplane, and all of a sudden, the pilot says, "We lost our controls. We are we cannot maneuver anymore. I'm going to have to make a crash landing, and we don't know if our landing gear is going to work because everything is shut down." No, these things happen. It's just the way it is. It's the material world. You can expect the worst in the material world. That way, you won't be surprised when it happens. So, but a devotee remains fixed in Krishna, and when the earthquake is shaking, they think, "Oh, this is Krishna coming in the form of an earthquake. Therefore, I have to somehow or other learn how to deal with it, take shelter of Krishna, and becomes unaffected by what happens." Because the material world is like that. It's just full of calamities and turmoils. At any time, a major war can break out. The bombs are flying. The day before, everything was peaceful. Now, the next day, there's a major war. People are running for shelter, looking to, figure out how they're going to get food during the war. So it's just the way this world is. And there's pestilence. There is, various kinds of diseases. There's epidemics. It's just the way it is. This is the material world. Economic collapses. There's people who like to give you trouble for no reason. it's, it's just the way it is. So a devotee has to remain fixed in Krishna and not be disturbed by all of these so-called things, and not to be disturbed by the other aspect too, because disturbances can come in two ways. One is difficulties, and one is in the niceties that material energy can present, which can cause one to be diverted away from their Krishna consciousness. Allurements, like all of a sudden you won the lottery. Now you have $10 million. And now what are you going to do? You're going to continue on your Krishna consciousness and use your money to propagate Krishna consciousness, or are you going to go on a world tour to experience the happiness of material life in different countries? So there is, or some good fortune falls upon someone. But it shouldn't affect our Krishna consciousness. It should increase our Krishna consciousness. That's the point. So difficulties will be there. Padam padam yavi padam, and this world is what it is. It's an ocean of suffering. Adhyatmika, miseries of the body and mind. Adhibhautika, miseries of other living entities. Adhidaivika, miseries of higher powers caused by the demigods or by natural disasters, which are also under the control of the devas. So all of these things are part of the material world. And one has to somehow or other learn how to tolerate. It's not because I'm a devotee, there won't be any difficulties. Srila Prabhupada had 3 heart attacks even before he got his movement started. The last one, the doctors said, well, his astrologer said, he was meant to leave the world on that one. So, you can see even great souls undergo suffering, apparently, not suffering, but difficulties. Suffering is for the non-devotees because when the non-devotees depend on everything going in a certain way, and if they don't, then they suffer. But devotees, even when they're in the midst of calamities and difficulties, they tolerate it or they somehow rise above it. They don't suffer, but they may experience inconveniences. So a devotee takes shelter of Krishna. What is that verse? Uh, I don't think of that verse. Uh, Yena Kena Prakarena Krishna Nivesaya. Yena Kena Prakarena something Krishna Nivesaya. In any situation, in every situation, just remember Krishna. That's all. And we have to practice to remember Krishna. Just to think we can remember Krishna automatically doesn't come so easily. Therefore, we have to chant every day, read the books every day, associate with devotees and serve devotees, and go to the temples, see the deities, and offer some obeisances to the Lord, and perform the activities of devotional service as given to us by the spiritual teachers. And then, when calamities come, we're not so much disturbed because our minds already are absorbed in Krishna, at least to a large degree. Otherwise, the world is what it is, and it's just a place of constant change. And that change, no one can simply depend on things going in a certain way. The non-devotees want to make some arrangements so they can organize themselves in such a way that everything goes according to their arrangement. But every arrangement gets thrown up in the air by the time factor. Nothing is permanent in this world. It's just the way it is. If you want to arrange something, you have to arrange yourself. We can't control the external environment. That's under the control of the Supreme Lord through the modes of material nature. Yena kena pakarena mana Krishna nivesaya sarva vidi vishedana eva kinkara. Yeah, that's a nice verse. So yeah, remember Krishna in all situations. In happiness, remember Krishna. In distress, remember Krishna. In anything, whatever you're doing or whatever you're not doing, remember Krishna. That's all. That's Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness means consciousness of Krishna. It's that simple. Keep your consciousness on Krishna. Remembering him is one thing, but what's the easiest way to remember him is to chant the holy name. But a way that supports the process of remembrance is to engage in devotional service. If we engage in devotional service, then we will be able to remember him easy. It'll become natural. If we don't serve or use our time for service, and then when it's really needed to remember Krishna, it becomes difficult. And of course, in yam yam vapi smaram bhavam taktva ante kalevaram tam tam evaiti konta yasadata bhava bhavitaha, that at the time of death, whatever consciousness you have, that will propel you into your next life. So therefore, practicing remember Krishna now means preparing for the time when we have to leave this body. And that will determine where we go in the next life. So therefore, always remember Krishna. Yeyatam mam prapadyante tamstataiva bhajami aham. Krishna says, if you remember me, then I'm with you. You forget me, then you are connected to the external energy. So remember Krishna in all situations. Okay.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Such a wonderful class, reminding us about the difficulties and how we have to conduct in that way. And your example, rain, difficulties as rain is very nice, Maharaj. It's 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 very clear, like we can understand, like how to be in those difficulties. And you were saying about bringing the good qualities when difficulties come. So that is very important, but very hard to focus on, or like it's a very hard process. I was thinking.
It comes easier as you practice. It's hard when you don't practice.
Yeah.
When you begin something, everything takes some time to develop. Practicing your Krishna consciousness makes it more and more easier to remember Krishna, more and more natural. And even if you forget Krishna, Krishna will remind you, oh, you want to remember me.
Mm.
But if you don't have the desire and the practice of trying to remember Krishna, then you won't be able to hear Krishna telling you to remember him. So
Okay.
it's all based on your desire.
Yeah. Thank you, Maharaj. Dear devotees, questions or comments or realizations, you can please go ahead now. And please turn on your cameras if possible.
Mm-hmm.
Maharaj, yeah, we don't desire for difficulties, but suddenly life is going smoothly. We are situated nicely in Krishna conscious activities, but suddenly some difficulties come. We are not strong enough to face them, or we just get bewildered or overwhelmed with all that situation. So what exactly we have to do at that time? Immediately we may not able to remember Krishna, but
Yeah, you have to remember Krishna, call out for Krishna,
mm,
pray to Krishna, or take shelter of someone who is fully absorbed in Krishna.
mm, okay, Maharaj.
Mhm. Going back home is like flying your plane. Nobody can fly your plane for you.
Mm,
The planes can fly in a group and they can support each other when they're in the air. But when it comes to, you know, crashing, then that plane has to maneuver itself. So at the time of death, whatever you've learned in the time and during your life, you apply in that time. Krishna save me. Remember Krishna, remember Lord Chaitanya.
yes, Maharaj.
The whole process of Krishna consciousness is to increase our memory of the Lord, along with worshiping of the Lord, which is also a way to increase our memory of the Lord. Everything we do means to solidify or to accelerate the process of remembering Krishna. That one verse in the Mahabharata, which is mentioned in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, is that to always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna are the two main principles of bhakti. All the rules and regulations of devotional service center around these two principles: how to remember Krishna always and how to avoid forgetting Krishna.
Mm,
So, what is the purpose of going to the temple is that we see the beautiful deity of the Lord, and then we can keep that image in our mind also throughout the day, or at least keep referring back to that experience when we were in the temple. We have our pictures. We have our homes. We can put pictures on the wall. Krishna's there in his picture. We remember Krishna by looking at his beautiful picture along with Srimati Radharani, the Shringadev, Sitaram, Lakshman, Hanuman. The point is, when you are connected to Krishna, you're above all suffering. You're above the material energy.
Thank you so much. Dear devotees, any questions? Everyone are silent. Yeah, Rasavilasni Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Gurudev and Samal devotees. Maharaj, as you mentioned, like no one should become a father or mother or relative if they cannot liberate their children or relatives. So how can we apply this when even we see like just because of Kali Yuga, if we try to tell them, they do not listen.
No, you don't start when they're older. You start from the very beginning. You bring the child up to Krishna consciousness from the very beginning of life. Your training doesn't come when they're, 7 or 8 years old. It starts at the womb. Just bringing a child into the world, you have to perform Garbhadan Samskara. And that's one of the purificatory processes, which allows for a good soul to enter into the womb. But people don't follow the samskaras anymore, and therefore things are, people are not getting purified in different stages of life. You have to follow the samskaras, at least the major samskaras, anyway. But bringing up the child doesn't start later in life. It starts from the very beginning, even before the child's born. That's where you start. Do you have some children?
No, Maharaj.
Okay. So no headaches, right?
Yes, Maharaj.
Well, yeah, but that means you have more time to focus on Krishna.
Yes, Maharaj. I'm trying my best.
If you try, Krishna will help you. Krishna helps those who help themselves.
Whatever I'm trying, Maharaj, it's all because of your mercies, your encouragement.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Maharaj. So, when we are talking about not following the footsteps of Rishabh, or it's not recommended this type of yoga process, Maharaj, like, but outside people, they doesn't know, right? Or actually, I feel like Rishabh Dev, many people outside, they don't know until they read Srimad Bhagavatam. So definitely they were not able to follow this yoga process. But you are saying like Jain and Buddhism are following some of the teachings of Lord Rishabdev. I just had a comment.
What did I say? I was
Jain,
saying
Jain and Buddhism, they are following some of the teachings of Lord Rishabh.
Yeah, that's mentioned in that same chapter.
But I never heard about Lord Rishabh. So I was wondering, like, many people also doesn't know this type of yoga process.
We don't follow Rishabdev at all,
Yeah.
but his teachings are mentioned in the Bhagavatam, so they also support bhakti. We can learn his teachings, and they're part of the process of bhakti. But you can't imitate or follow the yoga that he performed. And it's not necessary in this age. All of the yogas in this age are very deficient in that they're hard to perfect. But bhakti is not hard to perfect, and of course, and it's also the recommended yoga in this age, bhakti yoga. It's the topmost yoga because it deals with all of the karma yoga, jnana yoga, all of the other yogas are included in bhakti. You get knowledge, you perform activities, all of that is part of bhakti. But bhakti is love and devotion, learning how to love Krishna through the science of offering your bhakti, your love to Krishna in the form of serving Krishna. It's a mood. Just to perform the activity has some benefit, but when it's done with love or affection or with a desire to please the Lord, then it enters into the realm of bhakti.
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you so much. Sonal Mataji, please go on.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my obeisances to all the assembled devotees, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Maharaj, so in this verse it mentions that for bhakti to come into one's heart, you need to at least start hearing first. So when we see these people who are kind of practicing similar to this Jada Yoga, which is Jainism or Buddhism, but those people are still not ready to even hear, like the simple process of hearing. So is it that they are just in the process of purifying themselves, so at some stage they'll be able to hear?
Well, it depends. It really depends on the person. The Kumaras, we have the example of the 4 Kumaras. They were Brahmavadis. They worshiped the absolute personality of Godhead in the role of impersonal. They were thinking and worshiping that God is impersonal, and that's the highest. They're called Brahmavadis. They worship the Brahman aspect of the Supreme Lord, the unmanifested effulgence of the Lord. But when they came in contact with the tulsi leaves, the sandalwood paste that was offered to the lotus feet of the Lord, their minds were changed towards bhakti. So if people have an opportunity to come and associate with the process of bhakti by associating with a devotee, then they can also be elevated. They can. Yeah. If they're not envious. If they're envious, then they won't be able to accept anything but what they're doing, thinking it's the best. Yeah. That's because Arjuna was told by Krishna, because you're non-envious of me, then I can teach you this science. So that's
Yes,
a
thank you, Maharaj.
qualification of learning this science. One has to become non-envious.
Right, and I've got another question, slightly different. That to 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 become effective to spread bhakti by any by any means, say even by preaching or even book distribution. We need to be pure by ourselves. Otherwise, it will not be effective. Is it right?
If you're connecting with the pure process, then you're under the influence of the pure energy. You may not be pure, but but if you're acting purely, then you'll have some effect.
So our
Even,
consciousness needs to
even
be at.
the point is, you can repeat what you hear from the spiritual master, from Srila Prabhupada, and that repeating is actually pure in the sense that you don't change anything, you deliver it accordingly. But when you come to the platform of purity, then it has more potency and more effect. And then when you deliver it, you also realize it. So it's not that we have to wait until we get to the stage of purity. We become pure by following the pure process. So act purely, and then you can become pure. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I had one question, but I forgot about the follow-up one. I'll give me 2 minutes. I'll remember it.
And it's a follow-up to this question?
Yeah, sorry. Yes, it was because we need to speak according to our level of realization. So even if we are passing the message of Srila Prabhupada, he had different level of realization, and we don't have any realizations anywhere near there. So when we speak, shall we just say it with the mood that we are just passing on the message of Srila Prabhupada?
You should be thinking like that. And even those who are pure, they think like that. They're just representing their spiritual master. You should think like that. You don't make that a definition of why you're speaking. You keep that into your mind that I'm simply representing my spiritual master. I mean, Prabhupada said if you simply repeat what you hear, that is good. But when you repeat with realization, that is better. So don't wait till you get realized. You can practice becoming realized through repeating. Prabhupada would give the example of Malati's little girl. She was 5 years old when she would run around and approach people who came to the Sunday feast program. She would ask them, "Do you know Krishna?" And sometimes they would say no. And then she would say, "Well, he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead." And then she would run away. So, yeah, although she maybe not realizing it, but she heard from her mother, she heard from Prabhupada. So that's Krishna conscious. Repeat.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Thank you, Mataji. Such nice questions. Dear devotees, any more questions or comments?
I'm looking at Rasa Vilasini Radha. She looks like she's freezing over there. And I'm looking at Srimati. She's got a fan on in her room. Oh.
That's Texas, Maharaj.
Texas, you're about what, 30 degrees there?
You mean in centigrade? I don't know
Yeah.
about that, but yeah, almost yesterday it went to 80 degrees Fahrenheit and
80 degrees Fahrenheit. Huh?
yeah. So even though it's spring, mornings are little pleasant, but afternoons it becoming very hot already.
De-
Yes, Mataji.
Detroit is freezing.
Yes, Mataji, please unmute Rasvilasini.
But sometimes it's better to freeze than to be hot. Keeps you awake.
Maharaj, I think you are thinking about coming to Texas and thinking about the weather.
We'll be there. I don't know if the weather is going to make a difference. It's even going to be hotter when I come.
Yes, Maharaj. Yes, Mataji, you have a question.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Maharaj, as you talk about, like, we should always remember Krishna's name. I was reading like Chaitanya Bhagavat yesterday. In that, like, if we talk about Haridas Thakur, just like beaten by the Muslims like Chandkaji, he just mentioned the statement like, I'm just reading. This punishment was certainly due me. I stood in the court and listened to the Muslim blaspheme my Lord. For this, the Lord has punished me suitably, and I'm really very happy because my punishment should have been more severe. The Lord let me off very easily. One goes to hell if he hears blasphemy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. My sinful ears were filled with such blasphemy, and the Lord has given me the proper punishment so that I may never commit this offense again. So Maharaj, he was like a pure devotee. So how can we describe if
Yeah,
we are not a pure
that's
devotee?
Vaishnava humility.
That's a test, Maharaj, by the Supreme
No,
Person.
it's Vaishnava humility. That's a statement of humility. I'll be right back. Somebody is ringing my doorbell. Just give me a second here. Think of a question in the meantime. Yeah.
Yes, Vilasni Mataji, any further clarification you need?
Maharaj. Maharaj, that means like this is a like Vaishnav humility, right? As you talk.
It's Vaishnava humility. He's speaking in a humble state of mind. He's seeing that, the Vaishnava will speak like that. They don't give themselves any credit. They think it's all the mercy of the Lord. And if they suffer, they say, "Oh, it's due to my offenses. It's due to my ignorance, due to my forgetfulness."
Okay, Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for clearing it.
In Vaishnava humility, it's. Mhm.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sonal Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, just quickly going through the previous verse, because it says that Brahmana chastised or cursed King Vena, and there are many instances in Srimad Bhagavatam where Brahmanas have chastised or given cursed. Even Parikshit Maharaj was cursed by the Brahmana boy. So Brahmanas had that power previously, but when we see our Vaishnava acharyas, they never ever say even any bad things to others. So, uh, so that's the way in which how you can say that Vaishnavas are much higher than Brahmanas. Is it right? So it's kind of a practical.
Sometimes Vaishnavas curse. Be careful. I can tell you some stories, but I won't. But sometimes somebody does something against the Vaishnava, but the Vaishnava doesn't take any offense, but Krishna takes offense. And Krishna will do something to that offender. Like there was one time, I'll tell you one story. There was one, when I was in the brahmachari ashram, we had was one brahmachari, he was a bully. He would harass the other devotees for no reasons. And he was just a rascal. In the old days, we let anybody come into the ashram you know, and then even if they were like mischievous, there was one person who stayed in an ashram one time and he attacked with a knife one senior devotee. And everybody knew he was crazy, but they let him stay in the ashram. Anyway, this person was in the ashram and he got me angry. So I cursed him to get married. And 3 months later, the wedding bells were ringing, which was a good thing for him because he wasn't good in the brahmachari ashram. So, uh, yeah, so sometimes devotees will, you know, say something. But my curse was not a curse. It was actually a benediction because that's what he needed. Needed to get out of the brahmachari ashram. It was good for him also.
Thank you. Thank you, Maharaj. Dear devotees, any last minute questions or comments? Maharaj, I have a question. Like when we're talking about Vaishnava humility, so how does we measure our humility? Like how does we know that we are getting more humbler or not?
How are you getting more humbler?
Yeah, whether we are
Then
in that path or not. I just wonder.
if you're remembering Krishna more and more, that means you're becoming more and more humble. If you're not humble, you can't remember Krishna. It's not possible.
Mhm. Yes, Maharaj.
Yeah, that's a sign of humility that one is making advancement in Krishna consciousness.
Mhm. Yes, Maharaj. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Okay, I think my schedule is a little packed up today, so we need to end here. I do have time for chanting 2 rounds if
Maharaj, yeah, I was
devotees are inclined to chant for a little while.
sure, Maharaj. Even I can chant. So
Okay. I'll be right back.
yes, Maharaj. Thank you so much for the class and nice discussion. Thank you, dear devotees. We can chant now, as Maharaj said.
Jai Shri Krishna, Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar, Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda, Jai Shri Krishna, Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar, Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj left the call. So anybody wants to continue? Sridevi Mataji, are you okay to continue chanting?
Maybe another 5-10 minutes maximum, because I have to start getting ready for my trip,
Okay, sure, Mataji.
So maybe